The Golden State Warriors stand at the edge of a seismic crossroads, the kind of moment only a franchise of their magnitude would ever dare to confront, a point where nostalgia meets brutal necessity, and the echoes of past glories collide with the ruthless demands of an evolving NBA landscape. Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. The images from June 2025 still linger hauntingly in the minds of every Dub Nation fan. Weary bodies on the hardwood, the usual electric buzz of the Chase Center dulled to a softer hum, and a pervasive sense that the dynasty that redefined basketball dominance was quietly folding its final chapter. Kevin Durant, once the linchpin of the Warriors' rise to supremacy, the silky smooth assassin who reimagined what a super team could achieve, will not be donning the royal blue and gold again. When the news broke, sending shockwaves through arenas and living rooms alike, it was clear this wasn't just a roster tweak, it was an emotional gut punch. Durant's move to the Houston Rockets confirmed that the dream of him sharing the backcourt once more with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green had faded, that the golden age of that relentless trio was closing its doors. And yet, y'all seasons' gravitational pull didn't stop there. It only deepened when whispers emerged of a colossal multi-team trade rumored to bring in none other than Giannis Antetokounmpo, the two-time MVP and Milwaukee Bucks Titan, to the Bay Area a prospect. That would fuel feverish debates and split passions across Dub Nation. This move, shrouded in secrecy and carefully choreographed negotiations involving the Los Angeles Lakers and Dallas Mavericks, isn't just a trade. It's a gamble of titanic proportions, one that demands the Warriors surrender cornerstone pieces, future assets, and parts of their carefully sculpted identity to chase an all-in shot at another title. Think about it, Steve Kerr, the mastermind behind the Warriors' golden eras, would have to radically reinvent offensive schemes to blend their hallmark fast-paced ball movement and precision spacing with Giannis' raw physical power and rim-dominating presence. It's a marriage of speed and strength, finesse and ferocity, promising new dynamics but duplicating nothing from past formulas. And what of Curry, the eternal heart and soul, the sharpshooter who has carried this franchise through game-winning threes and heart-stopping finals runs? Time waits for no Warrior, and the axiom rings painfully true. Curry's prime twilight years mean every play, every possession is a vanishing opportunity. Delaying the pursuit of a championship risks turning him into a brilliant memory rather than an active champion. Are those sacrifices the young, hungry prospects like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, the depth that has kept the Warriors resilient through playoff wars, worth paying for a roster that puts all chips in the center of the table? History cautions us to breathe carefully here. We remember the Nets' high-profile star crisis with Durant, Harden, and Irving, a glittering constellation that somehow couldn't sync its rhythm, unraveling into chaos and disappointment. Can the Warriors avoid that pitfall? Or is this the inevitable price of brilliance? But here's the part no one saw coming. Behind the veil of power shifts and massive trades, a fresh, electrifying undercurrent surges rumors of a young, towering Filipino center stepping onto the Warriors' radar, a player whose journey from the courts of Southeast Asia to the brink of NBA stardom embodies a narrative as compelling as any championship saga. Standing 7 feet 2 inches tall with a wingspan that demands attention, this emerging talent mixes physical dominance, tactical brainpower, and a long-range shooting touch that screams modern-day center evolution. Not just a rim protector or rebounder, he's an offensive architect who can stretch defenses. His mobility and basketball IQ promising to fill the void Golden State has struggled to patch since the loss of their all-around big men. His story resonates deeply with the vibrant Filipino community in the Bay Area, a cultural bridge that could transform the Chase Center atmosphere from just another arena to a sanctuary of shared pride and dreams. This isn't merely a player addition, it's a cultural and commercial coup with implications reaching far beyond the hardwood. Sponsors, media reach, merchandising the Warriors could redefine not only their tactical blueprint, but their global brand, embracing a diverse fan base hungry for identification and inspiration. Yet, all these seismic moves come wrapped in unavoidable tension. The Warriors front office is navigating a knife's edge, balancing salary cap realities, the looming pressure of Western Conference competition, and the very soul of the franchise. The Lakers, Mavericks, and Bucks maneuver like chess masters in a trade that will alter their trajectories to Milwaukee facing a rebuilding chapter. The others recalibrating their rosters, while Golden State bets its chips on a win now. Ethos. Coach Kerr's role as the alchemist becomes even more pivotal as this potential super trio, with another elite but still unnamed star, could vault the Warriors to immediate title favorites if the egos align, if the chemistry gels, if fate cooperates. The stakes couldn't be higher. The strategic gamble threatens to end the historic Warriors era in a blaze of ultimate triumph or dramatic collapse. As a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse is racing just writing this. Is this the ignition point for our next title run? A final triumphant blaze that cements our place atop NBA lore forever? Or is it the crack that splits the legacy, a desperate reach that fractures the foundation laid by Curry, Green, and Thompson? The whispers in the league corridors grow louder by the day. The clock ticks down toward training camp, and every fan is braced for an announcement that could rewrite the very DNA of the Warriors. Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand. The Warriors' locker room feels like a powder keg about to explode after what just unraveled tensions are skyrocketing. And the next move could either cement a legacy or ignite a full-blown upheaval, the likes of which Dub Nation has never seen. If you're as locked in as I am for Warriors News Fan Report, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a second of the drama from the Bay to the Chase Center. Picking up right where we left off, the reverberations from the latest trade rumblings have sent shockwaves far beyond the front office conference rooms. These tremors are rattling the very core of Golden State's identity. Think about it. The ripple effect of shifting pieces isn't just about filling gaps here or there. It's a seismic shake that disrupts the rhythm the team has painstakingly built since the We Believe underdog days. Through the historic 7-3-9 record-shattering run, and all the way to the gut-wrenching loss in the 2016 Finals and the championship redemption saga in 2022. That continuity, that flow, has been the lifeblood of their success, and now it's under threat in ways that feel both unpredictable and unprecedented. The locker room chemistry, already delicate as a high-wire act, is now teetering on the edge of transformation. Steve Kerr's coaching playbook has been meticulously designed for precision ball movement, split cuts, and unselfish execution. But any significant roster shakeup demands a recalibration that can take months to master. And months are a luxury in the Western Conference arms race. Can Kerr retool the offense fast enough to integrate unfamiliar faces without breaking the spacing and tempo that Steph Curry's gravitational pull makes possible? Will the defensive shell build on years of anticipation, communication, and trust hold water when rotations rely on players who've never been through the playoff crucible in a Warriors uniform? Historically, Golden State's greatest triumphs have been about trust as much as skill. Remember Klay Thompson's Game 6 heroics in 2019, draining threes with surgical calm, or Draymond Green's defensive masterclass in the 2015 Finals that flipped the narrative on LeBron. Those moments were born of chemistry, of shared battles. Now, as tension mounts, the balance feels more fragile than ever. The business side mirrors that fragility. Golden State's front office is walking the tightrope of a brutal salary cap landscape, staring down luxury tax penalties so steep they could cripple flexibility for years. Every contract decision is magnified. The possibility of moving a veteran cornerstone, maybe even someone who's become part of the franchise's DNA, has ignited a frenzy among insiders and fans alike. Could they actually sacrifice a beloved figure for youth athleticism and cap relief? Or is this all misdirection smoke designed to distract from an even bigger, bolder move? Rumors swirl about bringing back a familiar face, the kind of trade that jolts a fan base and reignites the old fire. But here's the curveball. Whispers from behind the scenes point to something even more volatile strain inside the locker room itself. Players who once celebrated each other's success with unshakable joy are now reportedly exchanging cold glances, keeping conversations short in practice huddles. Under Curve's watch, that's almost unheard of. Is this just competitive tension spilling over, or are we staring at the early stages of a leadership clash? In Golden State's past, unity has been the shield against outside pressure. The We Believe squad was undersized, outmatched, but they fought as one. When that unity cracked, the magic vanished. The parallels are unsettling. A team stacked with talent, but one emotional misstep away from unraveling. Meanwhile, the rest of the West isn't waiting. Denver's Jokic is dismantling defenses with effortless brilliance. Phoenix has a loaded arsenal in Durant and Booker. And even the Clippers, when healthy, have a two-way punch that can smother you. One bad month could drop the Warriors from contender to chasing a play-in berth and with this roster's age profile, that margin for error is razor-thin dot. The trade possibilities are equally high risk, high reward. Move for a defensive wing who can guard the elite scorers of the West, and you might sacrifice shooting. Add another scorer to ease the load on Curry, and you could open defensive holes opponents exploit in May. And then there's the Draymond factor. His voice is the heartbeat of the locker room, but it's also one of the league's most combustible leadership styles. If he's on board, any change can be absorbed. If he's not, the fallout could be catastrophic. And looming over all of it is the reality that emerging role players will have to step into the spotlight. Can Moses Moody seize a bigger role without missing a beat? Will Jonathan Kuminga finally evolve into the two-way force the front office has envisioned? Or will he be the centerpiece of a blockbuster that changes everything? The answers will define whether the Warriors' next chapter is one of sustained dominance or a slow fade into rebuilding mode. What's at stake isn't just wins and losses, it's the identity of Dub Nation itself. A franchise that turned beautiful basketball into an art form now faces the question: adapt and evolve, or double down on what made them great, risking that the game has shifted around them. Every pass, every defensive rotation, every huddle from here on out is magnified, because the path they choose now will echo for years. As we stand at this crossroads, it's impossible to ignore the weight pressing on this season. Are we watching the ignition of a second dynasty run fueled by a perfect blend of old guard grit and new blood energy? Or will the cracks widen into fault lines that shatter the very foundation the Warriors built their legacy on? The chase. Center could be hosting another parade in 9 months or sitting in silence, wondering how it all slipped away. Personally, I believe Golden State's resilience has been forged in the fires of adversity too many times to be counted out. This is a franchise that stared down the impossible before, from the injury-plagued seasons that would have broken other teams to the crushing heartbreak of the 2016 finals, and somehow found a way to come back sharper, hungrier, and more dangerous than ever. Yes, the stakes right now are brutal, and yes, the margin for error is smaller than ever, but this team's DNA has always thrived under pressure. It's in moments like these, when the narrative feels ready to turn against them, that they've pulled off their most stunning transformations. Golden State has a habit of turning chaos into clarity. The Monta Ellis trade that once looked like heresy, it laid the foundation for the defensive core that fueled the dynasty. The mid-season system, tweaks that confused critics in 2015, they became the blueprint for a championship run that rewrote the modern game. Even the Durant era, which began with controversy, turned into one of the most dominant stretches the league has ever seen. Those decisions weren't made without risk. They were calculated leaps of faith that paid off because the locker room believed in the vision. If the right moves are made now, and that means aligning the roster not just on talent but on trust, and if every player, From Steph to the last man off the bench, pulls in the same direction. This turbulence could be the storm that clears the path for another banner in the Chase Center rafters. Imagine the narrative flip, a season that began under a cloud of uncertainty ending with a championship parade, proving once again that when the Warriors bet on themselves, they deliver. But one wrong step, one trade that upsets the balance, one ego that resists the team-first mentality, one injury at the wrong moment, and we could be talking about this season for all the wrong reasons. Instead of being remembered as the year they reignited the dynasty, it could become the cautionary tale of a team that reached too far, too fast, and lost sight of the formula that made them great. The difference between those two outcomes is razor thin, and every choice from here on out will tip the scale one way or the other.